I hope that was.
Recording.
I hope that was my. Oh, I'm gonna go lock my door before someone walks in. Talk amongst yourselves, everyone.
Oh my Lord. This is ridiculous.
We're on a different day, different time.
I know, we're all
different
screwed up.
location.
Well, you are. I'm still in the same spot I always am.
That's true.
But yeah, anyways. Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Weird ass episode of Paranormal. And you know what? Last week, I don't think we even introduced ourselves. We just went right in. But anyways, I'm Rachel, and we have
Kaz. Oh, sorry. Usually you're like, bah, 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 and then I say my name. Did you notice right before I was like, and then you're like, and we're introducing ourselves. As I shovel what is this? Strawberry? Listen, I've had a long day. It's 4,000 degrees outside. I haven't had time to eat.
We are in the pits of hell. No, it's all right, though.
Mm-hmm.
I take this over minus 40 any day. Mm-hmm.
I love it. I do.
Me too.
It's hot, but I love it. Keep it coming.
Of course, now the dog is like, hey, you know what? You're busy. I want outside. Fuck you, dog. You can wait an hour.
She's going to walk over and pee on you.
No, she'll just sit there and yip at me. You'll probably hear her in a few minutes. She'll be like, yo, bitch, let me out.
Aww.
Even though I asked her before, do you have to go out? No. Animals and children are all the same.
Oh, for sure.
You are
Animals are nicer.
Just ahead right now.
Oh, because my laptop's right there.
You're a floating head. Amazing.
The irony of it all, considering my background, which I will get to, and I'll explain why that's quite funny, because there's probably just a head floating around in that place.
Probably. Like, there's probably just one floating around in this place too, which I'll somewhat talk about. I don't have my notes because, heat brain makes you forget everything everywhere.
But just wing it.
So today's topic is all about the places we want to investigate in Canada and into the States too, because well, Canada has a lot of places. We don't have a lot.
I know.
At least none that are advertised as being haunted. So, but yeah. So, but in other news, I don't have any other news. We're busy. The Paranormal Seekers are busy. We just started our 6 weeks of busyness last weekend.
Yep. We had a really good weekend last week. Shockingly active in some of the places we were in.
It was great. So we were at Court the Settlers Village doing public investigations. So it was kind of fun.
And it was.
This weekend we are in New York. So we're in Ogdensburg because this will post afterwards. So we are going or had been at the Frederick Remington Art Museum, which is like a first for us because we've never done an art museum before. So it'll be fun.
Very cool indeed.
Yeah. So, but anyways, on with the topic. So let's just go on with this because it's hot and I only have so much of this iced coffee.
Ooh, that's my favorite. All right.
Good stuff.
Take it away.
All right. So first place on my bucket list, and I'm sure this is on everybody's bucket list, is the Kingston Pen. And I'm not going to lie, but a few years ago, I did reach out to Corrections Canada because they're the ones who own it. And I had to snail mail a letter. There's no email address. So it went in an envelope with a stamp and I mailed it.
Wow.
To see if we could investigate because that's what you do when you're a paranormal group. And unfortunately, due to the 100-year rule in Canada, which is that they can't release any information about any inmates for 100 years after their death, I believe, or something like that. Because it's all sensitive topics, we're not allowed to investigate. Because I was just like, even if you just let us just inside, like, like not even the buildings, just let us in like the little like whatever you want to call it in the back. We'll just stay out there.
Courtyard, right?
Yeah, but no, unfortunately not.
So are they worried that we will unearth information? Because
No.
we usually have to sign things like a non-disclosure or
Yeah,
confidential thing. So what would be the issue? Is it just the fact that we would know?
I don't think it's the fact that we would know. It's just the fact that it's part of Canada's privacy laws and your rights as a human, regardless if you're incarcerated. It's just they just don't want that out. They don't want to share it. They don't want people to really know or dig or pry, all that kind of stuff. So, and I respect that. That's it is what it is, right? So, but again, if you go on these Kingston Pen tours, obviously everybody knows that we've got some pretty infamous idiots who ended up in there who should have just ended up dead, but to each their own. But they don't talk about them on the tours, right? So they don't tell you where they stayed or what their favorite
I
meal
see
was,
who you're talking
right?
about.
Yeah.
I thought you meant somehow some group had got in there to do a thing.
No.
I was like, what? How did they do that? But yes, some pieces of shat
Yeah.
inmates is what you're talking about. I get it.
Yeah. They only ever talk about one. See, there's my dog barking at me because she's an idiot. They only talk about one because it was a really publicized case, and that's Tycon. So that's the only one that they talk about on the tour because he did escape and they made this. He like called in and then read the book, watch the stories. Yeah. So
well, we talked about it in an episode.
Yeah.
When we did Kingston.
I'm pretty sure it was the Kingston episode.
So go and watch that if you want to know more.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that would be like something. I've been on so many tours there. I'm pretty sure I've done a tour a year. Again, I highly recommend it. But
I think I'll be going on it at some point.
Yeah, probably. And this fucking dog, I tell you.
Do you need to let her out?
I think I do. She's gonna be outside for like 2 seconds. But but
do your thing, and then when I start on mine, you can go let her out.
Yeah, because she won't shut up. Hold on. Jesus. Anyways, but yeah, so
cross your legs.
She's just walking away. Fucking die. Anyways, but yeah, so that's one of my bucket lists. And like I said, I've been on many tours and I've had many different experiences. Like the first time we went, I brought the Ovilus 3, and it's like you're gonna like switch it on, right? And my purse, and all of a sudden I could hear this talking, and it was on in my purse, just blah 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 blah. And then one other time I was there, and it was like my second or third time there, and of course because I've already been in through like the buildings and stuff, I've kind of let everybody else go ahead so they can hear the tour guide talk. And I was the last person walking through segregation, so pretty much you were there because you were doing things you shouldn't have, or you were getting in trouble. And I had my butt pinched. In segregation. So
ooh la la.
So that's one of my bucket lists. And I think it's on everybody's bucket list. And people ask us all the time if we've done it. And I would like to say yes one day. Properly investigate it.
I mean, who knows? Maybe there is a time that we will.
Maybe if somebody's listening.
Exactly. Even if it's for just a complete private thing, like when you did Parkwood, where you have to sign off, and we have to sign off saying we will never disclose anything. But it would only add to their tour to be like, oh, we had a credible team come in, they did a proper investigation, and these are the things that they found.
Yeah, I'm sure Haunted Walks has tried to do stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Listen, if they want to, we got it. Us.
Imagine we collaborate.
That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think my dog gave up. She's just lying on the
She's
floor
just
now.
peeing on your floor.
Yeah, she's fine. She's good for now.
Well, are you still talking about your jail?
No, but
Or shall we go to another one?
You can go to your next
All right.
one.
So I am also sticking with the theme of a jail, but a little closer to home. And this is actually probably the same distance. This is the Dawn Jail. And the Dawn Jail is located in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The original building was completed in 1864. It was actually built between 1858 and 1864, and a new wing was built in the 1950s. It is one of the oldest pre-Confederation structures that still remains intact in Toronto. It was called the Dawn Jail, basically because it was on the Don River, or basically located right at the Don River. So in 1952, it was the subject of a news report by the CBC television network, because the notorious Boyd Gang, which are a group of bank robbers, broke out of the facility for the second time. This does not look good for Canada jails. Now, living conditions. Originally, it was designed as a reform prison. So it was dubbed as the Palace for Prisoners because it was progressive in the approach of wellness and the living conditions of the inmates. But as always, that didn't last very long, and overcrowding took over and it turned into a shithole. And it was originally constructed to house 276 prisoners. And by the end of it, it was got around 600 prisoners in it, even more in some cases. It was originally supposed to be like a short-term jail stop, but again, people ended up in there. Processing times were taking too long, and people, instead of like 30 to 60-day turnaround, it ended up being months, years down the line. The jail itself, part of it now is, where's the name of it? So in 2013, it was turned into the administrative wing of the Bridgepoint Active Healthcare, a rehabilitation hospital, which is basically right next door. But there is still an original part of the jail that is, I don't know if it's still open. I did write this down. If you could go into it. But so about 20% of the former jail's heritage interior was preserved, including the center block's half octagonal rotunda. I don't know, whatever. And the original iron railings and balcony, something. So, and the punishment and death row cells and former gallows tower still remains. Now, I don't think it's actually open even for tours. I was trying to find that information out. In terms of ghostly happenings, so I actually knew a guy who was working on the deconstruction and changeover to the hospital point. He owns an electrical company, and he had electricians that were in there. And he's like, these are grown men. And on one day, a bunch of them walked off the job and said they would never go back there because tools would be moved around. They would hear voices. They would hear doors slamming. One guy claimed that there was like a man like that rushed him. So there's lots of, I think, more so residual energy and noises, but there is that awful feeling that you're being watched, but also that feeling of like oppression, like you're stuck, you're in there, people are sad and angry, and that kind of energy that follows you around the whole place. I would love to go there and check it out regardless. Again, I'm not sure that it is open in any capacity to go in there, but I don't know if you've ever tried to get the Dawn Jail.
We might have. I think I did send an email to the the healthcare there to see if we could get in. Never heard anything. What a surprise.
So, I mean, because it's being taken over, there is like that small portion, but I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how intricated into the hospital part it is. Because obviously the hospital part doesn't want us wandering around.
No.
Or they're in the middle of rehab. And we're like, don't mind us. Do your stretches. We'll be over here with the K2 meter and the REM pod or whatever.
We're doing our own stretches. Listen, the SLS camera is a workout itself.
Oh my God. My arms hurt from carrying that on the weekend. I didn't even have it that long.
No.
You see how fast I was like, oh, can you hold this? And then that was
somebody else want to take it?
Yeah, we need some newbies to be like, as part of your hazing.
Oh yeah, you get to carry this for the
hold
next
this
4 hours. Oh my gosh. I can't wait. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think we've tried Dawn Jail. I'm pretty sure of it. I'll have to check my emails.
Well, maybe we need to revisit.
I agree.
And be like, let us in, bitch.
Yeah.
I mean,
all the good stuff.
Please.
Yeah. Pretty please. Pretty please. Well, my next place is also in Kingston, and it happens to be this one behind me.
Oh.
I know. So this right here is actually located just down the street from Kingston Penn. I think it's built around the same time, and it's made out of the same limestone. It's got the same type of structure. It is shut down, boarded up, and heavily watched by security because it's full of asbestos and nobody is allowed in.
I might be busy that day that we have to investigate.
Listen, I will wear a full hazmat suit if I have to get in here. I swear.
Amazing.
But anyways, this right here is the Rockwood Asylum for the criminally insane.
Yes.
Yes. So yes, it is an insane asylum. And yes, it housed the criminally insane that just didn't, I guess, fit in with the Kingston Penn. And of course, it also housed others who were deemed insane. So like back in the 1800s, yes, ladies, if you had your period and you had PMS, you was going in here for a while. Like you was hanging out.
Wow. So all of the women in Kingston.
A little too much. You're a dude and you touched yourself a little too much. You was going in here too. Like the craziest things would get you committed to the insane asylum.
Wow.
Like, the craziest things. I should post a list. I'll see if I can find a list and I'll post it about what would get you committed. Because nowadays, half the shit is just life. It's just normal.
Wow.
But yes, so this place has a lot of activity, apparently. People have experienced things, seen things from the windows. Some people who've actually made it inside. No. Had some really strange experiences, but you have to remember, it housed people who weren't of right mind, and who needed the help, and that can create a lot of residual energy. Now, I don't know the exact reports because again, my notes have magically disappeared again this week. Like, what the fuck? And yeah, all I know is I want in there bad. Last time we went, the person that we were with tried to offer the security guard a blowjob to get in there. Yeah.
Okay, Jay, thanks, but no.
Yeah, he just looked at her and was like, the fuck? No, that's disgusting.
Wow.
But anyway,
well, first of all, I mean, obviously you didn't offer correctly if you're being turned down, but we do not in any way.
This person was not part of the team whatsoever. So this is nothing to do with team stuff. There was just some lady. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's going above and beyond, I suppose, but Jesus.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Rockwood. I believe the trolley tour, the Mysteries and Ghost trolley tour in Kingston will drive you by this place and pull right up in front and let you look. They've got some little tales and stuff. But other than that, it's kind of like in a public park area. Like people go down there and they walk. It's right on the water, on the water. But so is Kingston Penn. You would never know. But yeah, definitely high up on my bucket list.
Interesting, it's right by the water because water is such a conductor of energy. And when you have that kind of energy, mental health energy,
The whole
it's
building,
already really high
yeah,
powered.
and the whole building is made of limestone.
Oh,
So
Lord.
same
So
with the pen.
it's just decommissioned, like it's just an
Yeah,
empty,
it is
and it
literally an
looks
empty.
like that behind you.
Yeah, well, that's an old picture
Wow.
from like I don't know the 1800s, but yeah, it still looks like that.
Mm. Well,
We'll have to pay a
I'm,
visit when we go to the pen.
yeah. Now, funnily enough, I'm going to also take us to a psychiatric facility that is also located in Ontario, only west instead of east. This is the London Psychiatric Hospital, which was also known as the London Asylum for the Insane. It opened in 1870, and from 1877 to 1900, it was headed by Richard Maurice Bucky, who was a revolutionary psychiatrist and friend of Walt Whitman. I don't know who that is.
Isn't Walt Whitman the name of the guy from like
No,
Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad. Maybe. Who knows? Could have
I'm
been
gonna
the same
Google
guy.
that while you keep talking.
Yeah, what is his name? Walter White. Walter White. So very close. Um, so in 1932, it became the Ontario Hospital, London, and then it was reborn as the London Psychiatric Hospital in 1968. And then in 2001, it was finally rebranded as the Regional Mental Health Care London. Good Lord. But basically, the London Psychiatric Hospital is what we know it as. Now, this is located on like 525 hectares of land. It's a massive, massive space. It was never originally that big. I'm trying to find here again. I apologize. I had all these notes and I don't know where my notes. Well, my notes are sitting on my counter at home because I'm not home right now. So this was branded as revolutionary treatment, as in it was focused on the rehabilitation part and the wellness. And so it was created as like a farm. So you had different cottages, you had barns, you had a bakery, and all the people that went there were given jobs to do because this Richard Bucky, Bucke, Bucky, Bouquet,
Buck?
Buke.
Probably
He,
Buck.
I know, somewhere he's like, fuck, say my name. Probably not because he was from the 1800s. Anyways, he believed that they should have humane treatment and it should not be that they're imprisoned or treated lesser than any human. And it was great. And then, as always, shit gets defunded and overcrowded, and it becomes a hellhole. And so slowly it just turned into a complete chaotic place. Actually, I shouldn't go that far. I don't think it turned into like a Penthurst State type issue. Oh, Penthurst State. That should have been on the list. It's
Yeah.
on the list. Because I don't think it ever truly got to that point, but it certainly veered hard, left or right, however you want to say it, from the original intention of this place. To date, it is a massive looming building. I highly encourage you to Google London Psychiatric Hospital. It's obviously decommissioned as a hospital. It's now empty and it's mostly used for filming movies. It is very much how your place, the Rockwell place there, it is heavily guarded and patrolled. So even if you wanted to sneak on, good luck, you wouldn't be able to. I think in order to investigate it, it's a lot of money, right? Or can you even go and investigate?
I have no idea. Gonna have to find out. But they'd probably ask for
Oh, and maybe it's
insurance.
insurance. Because I remember we talked about it before. Because I have driven past this place numerous times. And the last time I drove past, I tried to pull in, but again, there's a guard hut. My sister is a health and safety inspector, and I'm like, flash your bag, flash your bag. Tell him we're on official business and we got to go in and make sure it's good. And
You just turned sideways.
yeah, what is happening? I'm getting a Gmail video call with I don't know what's going on. Oh no, I'm not. I don't know what's happening. I don't know how to get out of this.
There you
thing.
go.
Someone's trying to call me is what's happening, and it screwed everything up. So long story short, I couldn't get into this place. And it is the epitome of what it would look like. So you go up this long driveway with all the nice, pretty trees, and it's this big, massive building that just looks like torture as soon as you see it. Like, it's a very scary place. People who have been in there, the stories are same as before. So you've got disembodied voices screaming, the sounds of people running up and down hallways, doors closing, shadow figures. So it's a huge building to investigate. Like, I don't even know where we would begin, because it's not like it's a little place. We would need a massive group and have to split up if we were brave enough, because like I said, just looking at the outside, you're like, it's like Waverly.
Yeah.
Waverly Hills, is that what's called?
Yeah.
It, like, when you pull up, you're like, oh, it's massive. But I'd love to go there, and I've asked multiple
That would be awesome.
how to get in there.
We'll have to take a look and find out. But if you know, please let us know or get us in.
Exactly. Please.
So my next place is in Toronto. All my stuff's in Ontario because anyway.
Well, that's good though.
So, but Toronto, and everybody knows this place because it's been in lots of movies and commercials and all that kind of stuff, because it is Casa Loma.
Oh, I know the other one I was gonna do. Yes.
Casa
Loma.
So again, I don't even know the history of it because I don't have my notes and my brain is like, no go today. But Casa Loma, I've been there once, thanks to Ryan and Allison. They took me for my birthday. But that place has history that needs to be told. It is incredible. And I do know that they know they have ghosts. They just don't want to share it, I guess. I know we did ask one year if we could investigate, and they told us that we could come during the day and take a normal tour. Because, bullshit. Whip out my stuff while you're all out here. Yeah, no, not happening. But that is on my hit list of places.
So I have been to Casa Loma, and it's a beautiful place. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but there are secret staircases and rooms, but there's also a tunnel that leads you all the way out to the stables. And as you're going down the tunnel, which it could be atmospheric, like, you're in this confined area going, you feel this impending doom. Then you get to the stables, and it's a whole other feeling. And my friend and I, this was a long time ago, when you had camcorders that were like this big and you had to hold them.
When we first started.
Oh, Jesus. So I'm videotaping. You needed to like hold your arm up after. So there's these, I don't know, like old knights chairs, like these big wooden chairs. And my friend was sitting in them, and I could not focus the camera. It was going in and out, and it was doing it on its own, like in and out, blurry, weird, creepy. And she started getting all like possessed. It was the craziest thing. And we're like, what is down here? It was a really strange thing. And then I got stuck on the spiral staircases going up to the attic. Had a complete meltdown.
Now they have a wax museum up there.
Well, I'll never see it, because until they get an elevator or a straight set of stairs, I will never be able to go up there.
Yeah, it's a wax museum and it's all got wax figures of all of the famous movie stars who have been there to film stuff.
Oh, I don't care anyways.
Yeah.
I thought it was like some weird waxwork of all of the dead people or something.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
But like their whole section, like I know like they have the one section where it's all like the bedrooms and stuff. They kind of show like how the family lived. And then on the other side, they have like all of the military stuff. And that shit has a lot of stuff, right? So you could just feel it. Even though it was really kind of busy when we went, like you could feel the atmosphere was definitely charged with something. And then we go up to like when like you were talking about the attic stuff, but I think that one spiral staircase you're talking about takes you to the roof.
Yeah.
Where you
I
can look
just
out
assumed
and everything.
I just assumed it was an attic. I never made it up there.
Oh man, no, nope, it's not an attic. Well, no, not up there.
Right.
The one section is an attic, but up there is the roof and it's like a lookout. But they do have another spiral staircase at the other end where the garage or whatever that tunnel is, where you go up and it's a wax museum. But but yeah, no, there's stuff there. And I really want to investigate. And I would love to have the opportunity. And again, it's rough, and they want a lot of money for it.
Oh, for sure.
So
anything along those lines now they want tons of money for.
Yeah.
Oh well.
You know, it is dark tourism is a money-making machine, and you know, I can't blame them because we tell all of the places we go to that they should do stuff, but
exactly. We kick ourselves in the foot.
I know.
Sticking with Toronto again, and not too far from Casa Loma is Keg Mansion. For those of you that don't know what Keg Mansion is, buckle up. Here we go. This was a massive house originally built in 1867 by Arthur McMaster. In 1915, the building was bequeathed by the Massey family to Victoria College, Federated College of the University of Toronto. In 1976, the keg was repurposed the building, and it's now part of the chain of the Keg restaurants. And still to this day, you can go there and enjoy a steak and a ghost. It's great. So the story of this house. So it was the Massey family that basically lived in this house. So there's 26 rooms, 17 fireplaces with a stable and a brick carriage house around back. It was one of the very well-to-do houses on the street. So in 1882, Hart Massey and his wife purchased the building. They did a lot of renovations to it. I'm not going to go into all of that, but they made it the sort of Gothic-centric looking house that it is today. One of their daughters, Lily, she ended up taking over the building. I don't know why it doesn't talk anything about that. She was the last one of the Massey family to have the building. She died in the home, and it is said that shortly after her death, her maid hung herself because she was so upset. Bit of a love interest, maybe. Not sure, but it seems very strange that the maid who was younger was so obsessed with her that she would hang herself shortly after. There is also a story of there was a tour there and a young boy fell down. There's a massive staircase in the front. He fell down and died. Not I believe it's true. Like, I think it's documented that it's true. So a lot of people have reported, especially the women's washroom. And that's because originally that washroom was Lillian's bedroom, which is where she passed away. Also on the second floor, I think where the staircase comes down is where the maid hung herself. And people have noticed legs hanging. And also they've seen a maid wandering that level of the floor. Staff report, typical things, things moving, glasses smashing, doors opening, closing, etc. I have been there. I went into the washroom with my trusty camcorder, recorded myself in the bathroom, not in the bathroom, using the bathroom, but in the bathroom. Did not feel or hear or see anything. but it is a beautiful home, if nothing else,
Mm-hmm.
to go to, and you
Uh-huh.
can get a steak. The
Yeah.
Kent's okay.
Or chicken, if you like chicken.
Yeah.
Listen,
Or nothing. Go and
I've,
there's a bar there. Go have a
yeah,
drink.
I've driven by it once and I've never been in it.
It's a beautiful place. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
Even just to, like I said, just to go in and look around. I don't know if they're that cool with you wandering around in there, but
Probably not.
enjoy your steak, everyone. I'm just wandering around.
I'm talking to ghosts. Just don't mind me, Mr. Local Paranormal Investigator.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh my gosh. We should go.
Yeah. We'll go have steak.
Yeah. Damn straight. Oh my God. Anyways, okay. Now I'm going to take everybody outside of this country.
Awesome.
We're going to the States now because there are some places in the States that are on my top bucket list for like places.
Oh, yeah.
And the first place I want to go is Gettysburg. And I've always wanted to go to Gettysburg. Now,
Mm-hmm.
for those of you who are listening from Canada who don't know your historical, information, because, it is the United States, but we know more about their history than they do ours. What a surprise. Gettysburg is a town, and you can find it in Pennsylvania. And it's the site of one of the most pivotal battles in the American Civil War, which was the Battle of Gettysburg. Surprise, surprise. Yes, I'm reading my notes now. And that was fought July 1st to July 3rd in 1863. And it was one of the deadliest battles and is considered to be a turning point in the Civil War. And then, of course, later on, President Abraham Lincoln would do his infamous Gettysburg Address and the dedication of the Soldiers' National Cemetery. So this entire town is haunted. Like the whole thing. We could spend a whole week there and probably not see or visit everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's so many places. So some of the places that we have there is the Sachs covered bridge. So that, red covered bridge. The first thing you think of is Beetlejuice when you see it.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is designated as the most historic bridge in Pennsylvania.
Is it the
And
actual one from Beetlejuice?
no, I don't think so. Maybe.
Oh,
I
it's
don't
just
know.
modeled on it? Okay.
Yeah,
Because
maybe
I've seen that bridge in a number of different movies.
yeah. I wonder if it is though. Maybe I'll have to look that up. I've never thought of that. This bridge is rumored to be where 3 Confederate soldiers were hanged for attempting to desert during the battle. They were pretty much attempting to go AWOL. So that says that they were hanged there. So it is said to be guarded by the spirits of the soldiers who were hanged there, and many people have reported a feeling of uneasiness on the sites. Others have seen full body apparitions of a soldier pacing along the bridge length. So that's one place.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got the Gettysburg Hotel. And the only reason why I'm going to read this one because my name caught my eye in this.
Oh.
It's one of the town's most active, ghostly active inns. And it is thought to be the home of a spirit that is affectionately known as Rachel. First time I've ever heard of a Rachel.
Yeah.
Right? So both guests and employees of the hotel believe that Rachel is the spirit of a Civil War nurse. And many people have reported seeing an apparition of a woman running down the stairs as if she's trying to help someone in need. Others have reported the drawers in their room opening and their belongings being rifled through. And so that's what they think she's doing, whatever she's doing there. And then, of course, you have the Jenny Wade house. Now, she's probably the most famous story, right? Because she is literally one of the only civilians to be killed in the Civil War, and it really wasn't even on purpose. So Jenny Wade was a 20-year-old seamstress. She was living in Gettysburg at the time that the battle began. She was at her sister's house as her sister had just given birth a few days prior, so she's kind of helping her out. And they thought that they were on the safer side of town, so they didn't really think too much about it. But on the morning of July 2nd, 1863, Jenny was downstairs making bread for the family when a stray Confederate bullet came through 2 separate doors and hit her in the back. And not just any part of her back, it hit her in her upper back, which pierced her heart and killed her. Because of all the fighting and everything going on outside, her family wrapped her body in a quilt and carried her to the basement of the home where she laid until the fighting stopped. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So she was the only civilian to die in the entirety of the Battle of Gettysburg. Her family apparently temporarily buried her in the front yard of the house before moving her to a cemetery almost a half a year later. And then she was moved to another cemetery after that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why did they like keep moving her around?
I don't know, but why would you bury her in the front yard?
I don't know. But if it was today's time, they would have sued the shit out of the army.
So a lot of people
pain
have
and suffering.
Been pushed, scratched, and pinched by an unseen force at this house. So that's something that I'm definitely interested in.
Well, I'm taking us to the States now, but we're going from the East to the West Coast. West Coast girls. I don't know the words. Okay. This is to one of my most favorite places where I've actually been, but I would love to do an actual ghost tour here or ghost hunt here. This is the Winchester Mystery House, located in San Jose, California. I highly recommend you go here. This was once the personal residence of Sarah Lockwood Pardee Winchester. She is the widow, or was the widow, of William Wirt Winchester, an heiress to the largest portion of the Winchester Repeating Arms fortune. So if you don't know what that was, they were the guns that won the war, which was probably Gettysburg, wasn't it?
What year was this?
Ties it all in. 18.
Maybe.
We'll just say yeah. So because everything else you had to like put the gunpowder in, and this one just took bullets and you like patch, and then you kill people super fast.
Bang, bang, bang.
So within a year, Sarah lost her father-in-law, her husband, and her 1-month-old daughter. Kind of made her go crazy. So back in those days, and we're talking, let's see, like 1870s, the thing to do when you were grieving is go to your psychic medium friend. And that's what she did. And because she was actually in Portland,
Oregon.
I'm trying to make sure if that was right. She was in the East Coast and when all this happened, and the psychic she went to was like, girl, you're in trouble. You are currently cursed, which is why this death is happening. And it's because all of the spirits from everybody who has died from one of your husband's guns is after you. So you better run. So she's like, go across the country, find a plot of land, build a house, and then protect yourself from the spirits. So that's what she did. She moved over to, oh no, she's in Connecticut. Same place, Oregon, Connecticut. I think it's all the same. She moved.
It's a fucking country.
She moved from San Jose. She bought an 8-room farmhouse on, I think it was on 100 acres of land. And she began what can only be described as the world's longest home renovation. It went on from 1886 and stopped 1922. It was 24/7 construction. It went from an 8-room farmhouse into a 24,000 square foot home with 10,000 windows, 2,000 doors, 160 rooms, 52 skylights, 47 stairways and fireplaces, 17 chimneys, 13 bedrooms, and 6 kitchens. It came with a price tag of $5 million in 1923, which is over 71 million today.
Oh my
So
God.
the reason for the continuous building is Sarah believed if she kept changing the layout of the home, the spirits could not find her. So she would have rooms built. As soon as they were finished, she would get rid of those architects, bring in new ones because she believed that the spirits somehow infiltrated the old architects, rip out the room they built, and built a whole new one with a different layout, different door, everything. So the only reason it finished in 1922 is the day she died, September 5th. That was the day everyone put down their hammers and tools and stopped working. Now, when I went in there, the sad thing is nothing inside is original anymore because when Sarah died, she died in the house. No one thought this is going to become one of the eighth wonders of the world and everyone's going to come here as a tourist trap. They were like, crazy Aunt Sarah's dead. Let's cash in, get rid of all the shit, and live happily ever after. And that's exactly what they did. Only for, of course, it to become very quickly a tourist trap because, like, even in the early 1900s, there, like, I think by 1930 something, they were already doing tours because this was like a crazy marvel. People were like,
it's a maze.
It is amazing when you go there. Like, if you're going to California, I highly recommend you go. What is really crazy is it is in the middle of like downtown San Jose. Like there are 5 different condo buildings right next to it. Obviously, it's not on 100 acres anymore. It's just on the whatever acreage that they have. But it's insane. It's beautiful. And there's like a staircase leading to the ceiling. And there's on the second or third floor, there's a door that opens and there's just like a 2-story drop, like windows in the ceiling. Like she really wanted to confuse the ghosts that, by the way, can probably walk through walls or are watching the whole time. Like it didn't make sense, but whatever. She was crazy. So of course there's many, many sightings of Sarah. There's a famous man, I can't think of his name. He's in the basement. He is like a worker. I don't know, I have it here. That has been seen multiple times. He's usually pushing a wheelbarrow and he's whistling. There were quite a few deaths in regards to the workers, just from doing stuff down there, probably working 24/7. I'm choking. There was a earthquake that happened that took out a big portion of the house as well. I don't know that anyone died in that thing, but it's an eerie place. It does make you think you're being watched and followed whenever you go. I don't know if it's just because you know that she was a little crazy. There's a seance room. So she loved doing seances. I think once a week they did a seance. So who knows what the hell happened there. In her seance room.
From the sounds of it, she brought the dead in, not the gun.
Oh my gosh. In the seance room, it's full of mirrors too. So they're all like crisscrossing each other and pointing in every direction. When we went in there, and it's weird because when you go in and they close the door, you cannot find the door to get out. So there's 2 ways to get out, but there's only one way to get in or something. I can't remember this thing of it, but it was a really weird place. I started feeling really strange and I took a picture and I'll have to find it. Remember the picture that Liz took when we were at Hinsdale by the tree? And it's like, that's the picture. And it's of the mirror. It was crazy. It's stunning. And there's lots of innovative things too. Like Sarah suffered from horrendous arthritis. So the hot weather was great for her, but she had like different innovations just to help her because it was really hard for her to get around after a while. But I would love to go in there. The tour was great, but you need to get in there with your stuff.
I
And
agree.
there's been quite a few different paranormal shows that have gone in. From what I hear, it has become a bed and breakfast. I mean, it still does the tours, but there's rooms now you can rent. So that might have to be a place I go to.
Speaking of bed and breakfast, that's just gonna go right into this next one because everybody knows this one.
They should do.
So we're going to Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yes, because in 1878, a man by the name of Andrew Borden purchased a home and remodeled it from a 2-tenant dwelling into a small family home. He chose this location because it was a short distance to his business, which was on Main Street, and a whole bunch of other things that made it just really convenient for him to purchase this house. So Andrew's wife kept the house, and she took pride in it. And he and his 2 daughters, Emma and Lisbeth, not Elizabeth, Lisbeth. They lived there too. And they also had a maid by the name of Bridget Sullivan, who was living there as well, as she was the hired help for inside the house. And it's funny because it says there were no hallways in the house with the exception of an upstairs landing. So it's, from the sounds of it, it's pretty open. I've never been, but I want to go.
Yeah, I've seen shows of it, but yeah.
Yeah. So on August 4th, 1892, well, guess what happened? As we all know, the little nursery rhyme goes.
Lizzie got a little busy
and gave her father 40 whacks. And when she saw what she'd done, she gave her mother 41. Even though technically she wasn't her mother. She was her stepmother.
No.
Right? So, you know, a lot of people know the story anyway, so I really don't need to go much into it. But through trials and, you know, being acquitted and all of that, Lizzie Borden was never fully convicted of murdering her father and her stepmother. Now, she do it? I don't know. But it's definitely something that is left to, I guess, the listener's interpretation. A lot of people think she did. A lot of people think she didn't. She never really said she did, and she never really said she didn't. So, but yes, the house is now a bed and breakfast. You can stay there. There's just a lot of stuff that happens. So people hear things. There's just, they have their own ghost hunts there as well. Obviously, you can stay the night because it's a bed and breakfast. It's just, it's one of those, I'm trying to find the exact, like, oh my God, activity. My brain just went blank for a few seconds. It was like, bleh. And now my phone's telling me that it's time to record. Too late, phone. I'm already doing it. But yeah, so it's just,
I would like to go stay there.
Yeah. But yeah, people
as
hear
morbid
things,
as it is.
feel things. They hear strange noises. You disappeared again. There you go. It's probably because your phone's telling you that it's time to record. But like a lot of paranormal investigators have been there. Amy Bruni has been there. She loves it there. I actually have her book here. I'm not trying to, but it's good book. It's cookbook called Food to Die For. And she actually the dedication at the front is dedicated to the memory of Lizzie Borden, whose killer meatloaf recipe inspired the idea for this book. So yeah, so I kind of really want to go.
Nice.
But yeah, but it's, you know, it's that, like, even up here in Canada, we've always heard like the Lizzie Borden nursery rhyme, right? Like it's just that we've always heard. And it kind of just permeated over the border, and now I want to go to Fall River.
Yeah. Now the like couch where the dad was uh brutalized,
Act.
is that the original one that's still in the house? Do
I
you
don't
know?
think so.
No, I wasn't sure either because I remember seeing like a ghost show and they have the original picture of him and
Mhm.
then they have like a very similar couch and
Mhm.
it looks really similar. And I'm like,
I'm pretty sure
was
that couch would have been destroyed afterwards because there would have been brain matter
yeah.
everywhere. So they believe that the people that are still haunting the house is Andrew and Abby, and they do believe Lizzie is there as well. But after all the murders, Lizzie and her sister moved to a different house in town, and that is where they stayed for the remainder of their lives.
Mm.
So, and that was, I think, called Maple Croft or something, or Maple something. So that is also haunted.
Oh, no doubt.
So this is, I found some of the stuff that people have experienced. So they've experienced whispering, shadowy figures and footsteps, and unexplained noises. So pretty much what I just said.
Hmm.
They've heard giggling, including the sounds of a ball bouncing. So shadowy figures, ghostly apparitions, and a ghostly face on a wall in the basement have been reported.
Ooh.
Some guests have also reported feelings of someone tightening the bed sheets as if someone were making the bed, or feeling pressure against their chests and their legs. Objects move on their own, including a doll that was being placed on a bed. Flickering lights and doors that open on their own have also been reported. So it's
Whoa.
a place just for us.
Oh, yes. Well, my last pick is so just for us, and it's really good. So I have again been to this place, but not inside it because unfortunately you can't go inside this. And it is the LaLaurie Mansion in New Orleans. Now, this is a phenomenal place. If you've ever watched American Horror Story season 3, I think it is called Coven, they actually depict this story as well as I believe it's filmed inside the building. Fun fact, Nicolas Cage owned this building for a short period of time, but let me get into it. So, um, Marie Delphine McCarthy or McCarthy was a commonly was one of New Orleans socialites and also one of the first serial killers in the area. So she was married 3 times. Mysteriously, her first and second husband just died. Just died. She then married a physician named Leonard Louis Nicholas LaLaurie, who was 15 years her junior. In 1831, she bought the property at 1140 Royal Street. And in 1832, she had a 2-story mansion built there, complete with attached slave quarters. She lived in the residence with her third husband and 2 daughters and would throw very elaborate parties there because, of course, she was a socialite. There were lots of discussions about the marriage having difficulties, lots of different fights going on. But anyways, they stayed together. And then in 1843, during one of her fashionable dinner parties, sorry, let me just make sure I've read this right. All of a sudden, a fire broke out. And people were like, oh shit, there's a fire. So they called the fire brigade. And when they got there, it unearthed some of the worst crimes known to mankind. So as the firemen came in, they were trying to get as many people out as they could. They found that the cook was chained to the floor in the kitchen. And the cook said, I set fire to the house because I wanted to die. because of the conditions that she was suffered to. Now, let me read this. So, according to the funeral registers between 1830 and 1834, so that's just 4 years,
Mhm.
a minimum of 12 enslaved people at the mansion were registered. There was no cause of death, but they suspect, of course, that there were a lot more. When the firemen started to look around, they found up on the third floor, there was now a third floor, the most horrendous thing. So they found people chained to the wall. They had parts of their skin shaved off. Some of them had their mouths sewn shut with like feces inside their mouths.
Ew.
One gentleman had been castrated and his testicles were in his mouth sewn shut. Some people were mutilated and it looked like they were doing like some sort of surgery. So they were trying to like put pieces of other people on the other people.
This is like human centipede or whatever the fuck it was called. Oh my God,
It
that's
was
disgusting.
horrific. So a lot of them were emancipated. They were
Oh.
like completely dehydrated, malnutritioned. They were beaten to the point that they had open sores all over them. A lot of them were chained together with spikes that were like going into their skin. So if they moved, they would like stab themselves. They also found bodies bricked up in the wall afterwards, when they were taking parts of the mansion down. And when they did a reconstruction, they found bodies buried in the courtyard as well. So the amount of deaths that she caused are unknown. But during all the chaos of the fire, Madame Leloria grabbed her children and her husband and they hightailed it out and they managed to get away. I think they went to France. So she was actually never tried for all of her crimes, but it is the most documented
Jesus
horrific place of torture.
my
So
God.
the place did change hands. It became a school at one point. It became apartment buildings. Like I said, Nicolas Cage owned it for a while, and then, if you didn't know, got in a little trouble, but not doing taxes, and so it was repossessed. Now I believe the city of New Orleans own it, and it just sits empty. And it frustrates me because they could do tours of this place, and people would pay money and I'm like, I'll take it and I'll do it. But it just sits empty. It's horrible. I'm so infuriated. I think once in a while, like if a movie wants to be filmed there,
Yeah.
but yeah, it just sits. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? Now, I don't know when they changed it to apartments, if it's now just like apartments. So this picture behind me is of a part of it, apparently. I don't know because I've never been inside. It's all like barricaded and boarded up, so you can't even see it. But man,
That's disturbing. That is the most disturbing shit I've ever heard in my life. And I thought the last
yes,
one here was going to be like the worst of the worst. But now
no,
yours just topped that because you know what? I was going to talk about Alcatraz, but fuck, man.
oh,
Thought
she
about it.
did like, yeah. So I think a lot of the things that they actually did probably were never spoken about because the people that happened to obviously died, but she kept these people in horrendous conditions and basically were just her sadistic playthings. And so when she married this physician, they think it was because he was also sick and they would do these horrific things to these poor innocent people. And unfortunately, back in those days, you know, slaves were not considered people, so they didn't have a voice to
No.
say to anyone. But thankfully, when the fire broke out, thank goodness for this poor cook who would rather burn alive than work another day for this woman. That's how horrendous it was. When she set this fire and it freed it up, people realized the horrors and they went like full pitchforks trying to find Madame Lalaurie and her family, but they got
The
away.
residual energy in that place is you could
Oh my gosh.
probably light a match and it would just
Yeah. Even the courtyard, like when we were standing in front of it, you can feel it. Like it's an ominous place. And it's such a shame because it's just like a tiny little plaque that tells you that you are where you are. But it's it's pretty it's pretty impressive in terms of like the outside. It's nothing to look at like a Winchester Mystery House type building. It's just literally a brick building. But yeah,
You know where that
like you
lady
said,
belongs? That lady belongs right here. Right in here.
oh fuck.
For the
No,
criminally insane.
she belongs in her own tortured area where people can just do
Or
horrible things. Because
or she belongs in Alcatraz.
yeah. So I mean, she lived out her days elsewhere, and obviously it never came to trial, but
Yeah.
horrible things. And so I can't even imagine what would happen if we went into that place. I think our friggin' stuff would blow up.
I think so too. I think so too.
Remember when we were in the Keene Hotel and the K2 was like, imagine in that place. It would just go,
Yeah. Nothing would work. It'd be like boom. The REM
yeah.
pod would be like,
Oh my
and then it
God.
would just go.
Yeah. Tiny puff of smoke.
Oh my God. So I will go through Alcatraz quickly because this is another place, another prison. We just always want to go to prison. Just to investigate, not to stay. It was first developed as a military force. So Alcatraz, if y'all don't know, is in California, right? It's on the West Coast. So it was initially developed as a military fort and then a military prison. And it had the first lighthouse on the West Coast, which was in 1854. Eventually, in 1934, it was turned into a federal maximum security, minimum privilege prison. Minimum privilege. So you literally had nothing. You were in there and you were doing your fucking time. It housed some of the most dangerous criminals of all time, including Al Capone and Machine Gun Kelly, not the fucking singer. So
it's just gonna be like, what? He was there?
Nah, the actual Machine Gun Kelly, not the wannabe. But you know, today it's closed as a federal prison in 1963. And today it's like a tourist attraction now. So people go there to visit. And it's definitely haunted. There is so much shit that happens here. Like you just obviously like it is known as one of the most haunted places in the United States. And there are so many things like, you know, visitors and staff have reported hearing unexplained sounds like moaning, sobbing, and screaming, particularly in the cell blocks. There are sudden cold spots and feelings of unease in areas, especially in D block and particularly in cells 12 and 14D. So D block, cells 12 and 14. Some people have seen apparitions of ghostly figures, including one that people have described as a menacing entity with glowing eyes.
Oh.
A lot of people have felt emotions, strong negative emotions nonetheless, such as sadness, despair, and fear. Again, cell block D is one of the most haunted cell blocks. It is known for its solitary confinement. So, of course, haunted. And then 12 and 14 on that cell block is cited as being the most particularly haunted cells. There's just so much stuff on Alcatraz, but I ain't going to top what you just talked about. So we're just going to cut it there because holy hell, man. But these are the places to investigate. Some of the places. We could talk for hours and hours about other places.
I know.
I don't think nobody wants to listen to us drown on for 3 hours. So,
well, not yet. Maybe when we're a little more famous, people will be like, I love them.
Maybe we'll have a live show and we'll just talk about this random shit.
Yeah, where people can chime in. Ooh, good thinking.
I know.
Well, maybe in August when we're in a certain place.
Yeah.
We can have.
But we got one more episode after this one, and we're kind of going on vacation for a little bit. But we'll be back with lots more fun stuff. But you still get another episode, so you don't have to worry just yet.
So stay tuned.
Yes. So, but if you have a place of interest, or you know somebody that owns a place, or maybe you're someone from one of the places we talked about today and can get us in, we'd be super grateful. She's just trying to make herself sparkle again and give thumbs
Oh
up.
yeah, remember that? Where are my thumbs? Oh, I went black. Oh, what's happening?
Are you sparkling again?
I'm just, I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
What are you doing?
I'm Marty McFlying into the house. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
But yes, if you can get us into one of these places, or you've got contacts, we'd love to hear from you. So you can email us at paranormalpodcast@gmail.com. So it's PAREHNORMAL podcast@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram. Heck, we's even on the TikTok.
The tick of the talk.
Our crap is awful because we're not the type to edit. So, but anyways, that is the
You're listening.
Yeah. So thanks. And thanks to the person who sent us a story about Jester's Court, because we just got that today too. So
yes.
Interesting. But yeah, anyways, we are out of here because we are melting like popsicles and I need a refill on my iced coffee.
Mm-hmm. And I want to go home.
Yeah, you're still at work, but I'm not. Anyways. All right, everybody, have a great evening and we will talk on the other side. Bye.